Welcome to Kevin Deal Photography, where I take you on my journey through photography. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a review of the SeeMo HDMI lightning adapter from Accsoon. Welcome to today's episode. If you're not familiar with Kevin Deal Photography, we do gear reviews, tips, techniques, and tutorials, and sometimes we dive into film. If any of that sounds appealing to you, click the subscribe button below. So if you follow this channel, you know that I like to use my Atomos Ninja 5, which is a great device to put on my camera. However, in my ongoing quest to make my bag smaller, to make my bag lighter, if somebody said, hey, I have a solution that will make your monitoring weigh about a quarter of the weight and it'll take up about a third the space, I would definitely be interested in something like that. The idea behind this product makes a lot of sense if you think about it. We use our phones all the time, and they're always on us, and they're almost always in our pockets if they're not in front of our face. Over time, we've also decided that we want to watch 4K movies on our phones. We want to go to YouTube on our phones. A lot of you are probably watching this episode on your phones right now. For most of us out there, our phones are the monitor that we use the most. We use it more than our computer monitors. We use it probably more than a lot of us watch our televisions. So Apple understood this and they decided to make our iPhones have a really good playback quality. We can watch 4K video now. You can watch your latest episode of Ted Lasso on your iPhone. I watch a lot of Dallas Mavericks basketball games on my iPhone. And so the playback quality has to be good enough. It's clear that Apple has made an investment in their phones. They're pushing all the cinema features. Now you have about 2 billion of these a year being sold. So with 2 billion new iPhones in circulation every year, that definitely makes this a powerful tool that a company could maybe step in and develop some really cool software for to emulate the monitors that we photographers and videographers are so used to using, like Atomos Ninjas. So in comes Accsoon. In the interest of transparency, I do want to tell you that Accsoon sent me a SeeMo for a review, but like all my reviews on this channel, my opinions are going to be my own and my review is going to be completely independent. I will tell you what I like, what I don't like, and whether or not I can actually use this device for my YouTube channel. And speaking of, I do want to make things smaller. My YouTube channel is important to me, but when I take something like my Atomos Ninja out into the field, when you add the monitor, the external hard drive, the Sony NP battery, the adapter, the case it comes in, it's actually about the size of one of my Canon L lenses. The size of this, I could really fit both my phone and the SeeMo in my pocket. So from a size perspective, I can actually take another lens with me on a shoot. Let's dive into what the Accsoon SeeMo gives you. It allows you to use your iPhone as a camera monitor or a streaming device. You can record up to H.264 video on your iPhone. I believe it caps out at 60p 1080. You can use the common Sony NP batteries, which are sold separately, I might add, but it is compatible with this device. It is also necessary to have for this device. You can live stream full HD footage at up to 60 frames per second, and this device comes in at a price of $179 US. When you get the unit, it comes with cables, a cable for your lightning connector for your iPhone. It also comes with the USB-C cable that you could use to attach it to your iPad. It also has a really nice cold shoe attachment that you can put on your camera or other devices. And it couldn't have come at a better time that I got this unit for review. I just purchased a new Fuji X-H2 and I want to do a review of the camera. And because it's a smaller camera, I don't want to take my Atomos Ninja with this. My Atomos Ninja weighs more than my camera and a lens. And so having a smaller monitor to me was very appealing for this review. So in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you some footage from this camera, the X-H2, and how it internally records what's going on inside the camera, which is one of the primary reasons why I'm interested in the SeeMo product. But I'm also going to show you the operation of the device. I'm going to show you what I like about the device, what I think could be improved upon with the device, and who should or should not consider purchasing the SeeMo. So for the operation, it's pretty straightforward. First and foremost, you turn your camera on. You need to download the SeeMo app from the App Store. And then once you do that, you also need to make sure that you purchase a Sony NP battery separately. You can get third-party generic ones for not too expensive. To turn on the unit, you just push the button right here. It'll turn on. There's an indicator on the side that will give you how many dots you're at. That'll tell you how much battery life you have. You've got your video out on the side. That goes to your phone. You've got your lightning connector, which then of course you plug into your phone. And then on the other side, you have an HDMI port. Now this doesn't come with an HDMI cable, and that's probably fine because depending on what camera you use, you might have a micro HDMI port, you may have a full-size HDMI port, so they just let you get that on your own. That is another expense you will have if you decide that you want to do this. As soon as you plug it in, it will ask you, hold on, if you want to get into it, and you hit allow. And then you're greeted with this menu right here. You'll go ahead and click on the monitor button, and when you do that, it launches. So this is what the interface looks like. If you've ever used an external monitor, you'll feel right at home. When you look down below, these are your recording settings. And then when you look up top, you'll see all the tools up there, and those are all of your perimeter settings, all the adjustments you can make while you're monitoring. It's a very similar layout to an Atomos Ninja. Now, let's take the app for a spin out in the field. So now, let me take you through how to use the app. So as you can see right here, this is your interface. As I move it around, it is transmitting a signal straight to the phone. It looks like it's saying 1080p at 60 at the lower left. One thing you need to keep in mind is that when you see these controls on the bottom, it'll tell you iOS battery, your encoder, which is H.264, what your recording time is, etc. All those settings at the bottom, you can't control from the app. You have to control them from your camera. So if you decide to go in and change your camera to say like 1080 23.97 frames per second, or you want to do 1080 30 frames per second, when you do that, you'll see it show up on the phone in the app, and it'll change along with you. If you're coming over from an Atomos Ninja and you're looking for the settings on how you can change the frame rates and all that, as far as how things get received, you can't. On the app, you can on your camera. So just keep that in mind. However, when you go up to the top, there's actually some really cool settings that you can do. So when we go to the top left, right here, we click on that, it'll show us black and white. We go to the next one and we can go over and it shows RGB. And if you click the gear icon on the right, you can change it from blue to green to red. And I'm going to click the icon again to make it disappear. I'm also going to turn that off, and I'm going to go over to my histogram. So now I can see my histogram, which is kind of nice. When you go into your settings though, when you go scroll to your histogram, you can actually make the histogram go to the left, to the right, up or down, or you can make it in the center. You also have an opacity right here. This opacity knob that you move, once it's up all the way, let me go out of the gear icon, you see how you can kind of see a box around it. I wouldn't want to see that, so I would actually just turn the opacity all the way down, and I would probably move it over to like the upper left. You can also make it medium and large. So here's what it looks like when it's large, medium, and small. So there you go. I'm gonna keep it small. I can see what's going on. I can just use my exposure triangle and I'm good to go there. So the next thing is your waveform, which is great. Same thing as before. I'm gonna move my waveform though over to the right if I'm gonna have it on there. So upper right. Actually, that was my histogram. I'm gonna keep my waveform to the left. So let me go over to my waveform. There we go. Make it small. Same thing, you can do the opacity to where it puts a box around it. That's what it looks like. You can also put it in the center just like before. So there it is in the center. Once again, I wouldn't want that. However, you also have the ability to see it as RGB, and you can also overlay it so you can see the Luma and all your RGB as you're moving around. It gives you all that information. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my opacity all the way so I can see it more like that. And that's what it does, which is pretty cool. Now, let me get out of that. I'm gonna actually turn it off. I'm gonna turn the histogram off as well. When you go here, this is cool because this is your focus. So if I go into my camera and I decide to use manual focus, anything that's in focus will be red, which is cool. If I decide that I want to change that, I go over to the gear icon again and I scroll over to focus. I can make anything that's in focus green, blue, white. You can also change the peaking level intensity so it's not so bright. I personally want to know, like I like to have nice and bright peaking, usually in red. So as I look around like this and I look and see what is in and out of focus, it makes my life a lot easier as I take pictures, so on and so forth. Really easy to work with. Moving on, I'm gonna turn that off. So now we're gonna move over to LUTs. You can actually load LUT files. If you go in here, you can see very common ones, Canon C-Log, Red, etc. They even have Fuji F-Log, Sony S-Log. These are all LUTs that you're very familiar with if you're on any of these platforms. However, you can also import your LUTs apparently over AirDrop. I haven't tried it yet, but that's something to keep in mind, is that you can do LUTs over AirDrop. You also have the ability to adjust your zebras. So I can go in and change my exposure level. So if I want everything, when anything is over, just like 90 or 90-ish%, anything that's kind of overexposed in the sky, you'll see the zebras moving left. However, if I wanted to maybe get my middle tones, something around 45, 50%, now more of my scene has zebras on. It looks like they only have left zebras. I'll do a little bit more exploring, but I think that's pretty much all you get out of it is just a percentage, and then you get one level of zebras. So I'm gonna turn the zebras off as my exposure warning. Goodbye zebras. Now you have your gradient, your false color gradient. And that's another thing. You see how there's somebody at my front door right now? That's something about the app that you'll need to learn, is that you need to put it in airplane mode. Otherwise, your warnings will show up and you won't be able to access these buttons at the top. Moving on, this is your audio levels, which I don't have anything plugged into it right now, but if I did, that's where I would adjust that. You have mode right here, which I'm not really sure what this is. Oh, I know what this is. This is record on, record off. Turn this off. So this right here, okay, this is your format, how zoomed in you are, etc. You can actually go in and distort things, which is great. So if you have like a 1.3 anamorphic lens, something like that, 4:3 ratio, 1:1 ratio, regular, etc. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want to scroll through those, you can adjust all your different ratios. So if you have like an anamorphic lens or something like that, which I actually do, and I'll show you some footage that I use with this, with an anamorphic lens, you can check that out. Here you've got your thirds, your grid of thirds. So if you want to compose something off a third, you can, or center it, you can. That's what that does. So you have an overlay section, which is kind of interesting. Like you can take a picture and import it in. I guess I can just find some random picture on my phone. Or here's a shot I took of something at Deep Ellum. Sure, let's do the full image, done. And then as I take care of this, it overlays the picture over it. Don't know if maybe that's good for something you could do for like a logo. Maybe you can put your YouTube channel logo in there or something. I'm not really sure what that thing does or how to use it. But that's pretty much it. There's screenshots. You can just take a quick screenshot of something that's on there and it'll send it to your phone. I have no idea if that just turned off my recording or not, of my screen recording. I'm about to find out. Let's get out of here. So that's the basic operation of the screen. Let's test out how the SeeMo works out in the field with my Fuji X-H2. So if you watch my YouTube channel, I like to show what's going on inside my cameras. And so the feature of being able to record into my phone is very appealing to me. And so I was testing out the X-H2, as you can see here. I think it did a really good job. These are all, of course, done in 1080p, and then I upscale them to 4K inside of Premiere. I think they look fine in terms of showing people what's going on inside my camera. I'm not going to win an Academy Award with this footage, but it gets the job done. done. Unfortunately, as you can see right here, the mallard ducks made poor subjects. They decided to sleep and not be photogenic. So I went back to my studio and I worked with a model, Alyssa. We went outside, walked around, and she let me test out this feature on the Accsoon SeeMo, and I think it did a fantastic job. Alyssa and I also shot a little bit of video footage. I think this video looks just fine. It's very usable. It's upscaled from 1080p to 4K. I like the fact that I can just airdrop it from my phone to my iMac, and then I'm immediately dragging and dropping it into Premiere Pro, and I'm editing as opposed to having to use removable hard drives and all that with something like an Atomos Ninja. For my XH2 review, I also took the Accsoon SeeMo out to the streets of Houston, Texas to shoot some street photography and street video. And as you can see right here, I think it did a fantastic job. So let's talk about the things that I like and don't like about the Accsoon SeeMo HDMI to Lightning adapter. I'll also talk to you about who I think should purchase this product and who I think should pass on this product. So the things that I like, we've already gone over the fact that it does an incredible job of showing what's going on the inside of my camera. When I take my 1080p footage and I upscale it to 4K, I think it looks perfectly fine in the context of YouTube. I also think that the videos that I took on it look fantastic. And if I'm not doing something super critical where I need to squeeze every last bit of quality out of it, I actually think that this device does just fine. I like the build quality. I actually like the way that this cold shoe adapter clamps on to the cold shoe of my camera. It's just super simple. You just turn it until it clamps down. It's a nice gentle clamp. It doesn't grind. I actually find it to be way better than some really expensive speed lights that I own. I wish more companies would adopt this very simple way of clamping to your cold shoe. What you get for it for $179, I think is great. One of my favorite features about this, which I can't believe nobody has thought of this, or maybe they have, is when you open this up, it just stays. Then you take your phone, and when you put your phone on it, when you push it down, the pressure gently puts this top part on there and it squeezes. I can't tell you how many phone adapters I've come across in my day where when you try to put your phone in there, it like flips out and squeezes it out, shoots it out. This is a very well thought out design. I also like the fact that it is compatible with the very common Sony NP batteries. You can use different types of batteries of different sizes to get different recording time out of it. I think that's a very smart design. Using proprietary batteries is always kind of a questionable thing because if you can't find the batteries anymore, you're kind of out of luck. The Sony NP batteries are going to be around for quite a while. They're not going to go anywhere. You can find tons of generic third-party versions of these batteries on Amazon and other places. So really smart decision by Accsoon. But let's talk about the things that I think that they could improve upon, and let's stay on the Sony NP batteries. When you purchase this device at $179, it does not come with the Sony NP batteries. And yes, I did say that they were common, but it is an additional expense that you have to make. Another thing that I hope that they can improve upon is that when you put the Sony NP batteries in and you plug it into the Lightning adapter on your phone, it doesn't charge your phone. So if your phone is sitting at like 10 or 15% and you want to go out and record something, you're not going to get a lot of recording time. You're going to have to plug your phone in and wait for it to charge. Another thing that I think could be improved upon is when you look at the battery indicator right here that tells you how much battery life you have, it's really easy to see in my studio. However, when you go take this out into the field, even on a cloudy day, it's really difficult to see the green and the white lights. I wish they would make brighter lights because I have to go into the shade and really look to see how much battery life I have. That is something that I hope that they can improve upon. The manual is okay. It kind of tells you what's what. It doesn't really explain how the menus work inside the app. So hopefully my video will help you out with that. But I will let you know that if you're looking for some answers on what certain things do in the app, it is not comprehensive. Currently, this is iOS only, which isn't a problem for me because I'm an iOS user. They do make another product. I believe it's called the M1 for Android users. However, from what I've seen, it does not have the same hardware as this, and therefore it doesn't do the exact same specs. Another thing is that this records in variable frame rates, which could cause glitches. The fact that it records in variable frame rates isn't necessarily the fault of Accsoon. Apparently that is something that is in the Apple iPhone, and that's how it records video. So it's actually something that Apple did, not something that Accsoon did, but unless Apple redesigns the iPhone, that is something that you're going to have to live with. And finally, maybe the elephant in the room for some of you, the Achilles heel, is that it does not record in 4K. Now, for what I do when I'm upscaling just what's going on inside my camera from 1080p to 4K, that doesn't bother me. But if you're trying to record something where quality is absolutely the most important thing to you and you're trying to squeeze every last bit of quality out of it, this will not do 4K. And so for a lot of you, that will be a deal breaker. It wasn't a deal breaker for me, but it may be a deal breaker for you. So let's talk about who this product is and isn't for. If you're someone like me who has a YouTube channel, you just want to put something quickly on your camera that's light, just record what's going on the inside of your camera. You don't have a problem up converting from 1080p all the way up to 4K. That would be me. This is perfect for you. Maybe you're somebody who live streams on Facebook or YouTube, but you want to use a nice camera to get that footage to your live stream. This is the perfect product for you. Obviously, we all have iPhones, and so this is a very powerful product for a lot of us. We already have great monitors with us. So if you're somebody who feels like you could benefit from attaching this to your nice camera and then streaming things from your iPhone to a live stream, or maybe just capturing it to put it in maybe Premiere or something like that, this is the perfect product for you. Now let's talk about who I think should avoid this product. And it should be pretty obvious if you are a professional videographer, you have some elaborate rig, you're using a lot of external monitoring and all that. This is not going to replace your current monitoring. It's not going to squeeze every last bit of quality out of it. As I said, it doesn't do 4K. So if you're that person, I would avoid purchasing this product. So that concludes my review of the Accsoon SeeMo HDMI to Lightning adapter. If you like what you saw today, click the subscribe button below. I really do appreciate your support. This is going to probably be my second to last video of the year. I'm going to wind things down for the holidays. YouTube gets a bit slow this time of year. I have a lot of episodes coming though, so stay tuned. Click the subscribe button, follow the channel. You'll get notifications when the new episodes come out. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.